Hello YouTube, and welcome to the crash course of mock web design in Adobe Photoshop. So now today we're going to design a website using a certain simple technique in just about a few minutes. So now before we start web designing in Photoshop, I got to make sure that I enable a few settings and change some settings in Photoshop. So for that, I'm going to go over to Edit, go to Preferences, and go over to Guides, Grid, and Slices. And I'm going to make sure that I have my grid line every 20 pixels and subdivision is 4. This is up to you. You can change it as you get used to it, but this is the setting I'm going to stick with before we start web designing. And then I'm going to go over to Windows, View, go over to View, click on Show. Okay, everything is off right now, so I'm not going to really bother about it. So I'm going to go over to Windows, go to Actions, and you can see that there's only default actions right now. So for easier web design, there's actually a tool called the 960 plugin for Photoshop, and you can download it from 960gs.com. I've included the link in the description below, so do be sure to check it out. So once I downloaded the file, I'll get this, I'll go inside it, I'm going to go inside the apps plugin, going to go over inside the Photoshop, open up Photoshop, make sure that the action panels is open so that I know it is installed. So since I have my Photoshop open right now, I don't need to do anything else, but just double click on this. And once I do that, you can see that 960 grid actually appears over here. Now you have the 12, 16 and 24 column grid system over here. You can choose any one you want, actually. So just for the simplicity's sake, I'm going to choose 12 and start up with this. I'm going to select this and press the play button. So voila, everything is actually made for me just like that. And this is the basic grid system we use for most web design layouts over there. And I also want to see the grid, so I'm going to go over to View, go over to Show, and I'm going to say Grid. And since now this is how we actually have a very consistent web design. And now I'm also going to make sure that I'm going to go over to Windows, View, I'm going to enable Snap to Grids, Guides, and Slices, everything over here. I'm going to make sure that Snap to is on for everything else. So now I'm going to start making up buttons, I'm going to start making up menus and so forth. And these are where all the layers for the web design website is actually collected. So I'm going to start up with the web design right here. So I'm going to click the new layer icon right here. This is going to be my header. And I'm going to go over to the shape tool right over here, choose rectangular. And I'm going to make sure that I'm on the shape option right here so that I can choose the fill and stroke. Just drag it out, and as you can see that it actually snaps to the grid. And you just press Ctrl Z because I want to be precise on this. And let's say I want to use about 4 grids for it. Okay, so now that's actually important for a consistent design. Okay, and 4 for the footer maybe. This is the header one. Create another layer. And maybe I want 4 for the footer, just like that. Okay, that's for the footer, and that's the footer layer. Alright, so now I can change the color of this, but for now I'm simply going to stick on to the design part. So maybe I want a stripe of some kind of a bar over here and 3 space where I have some text displayed. So I'm simply going to continue the design. I'm going to click on the new layer again, and then I'm going to make up a space. Let me leave 1 unit for this so that I know that it is consistent. Let me just drag this out. Since this is 4 units, okay, I'm going to take about, maybe this is 4 and this is 8 units, okay, 8 units of it, and drag it. Okay, so this is where my information is going. Maybe this is not really sufficient, so I can increase the size by pressing Ctrl T and dragging it out. 2 more space maybe. Is this enough? Okay, it's actually up to you. So now this is my information space, so I can say home page info or simply say info. I'm going to arrange that later on. Be sure that you name the layer so that you will save the confusion later for later on. So you won't be confused later on actually. So I'm going to have more grids over here. So you can see the grids out here, right? You can see the grids out here, and I'm going to base my designs on the grid. And I'm a bit off on the grid right here, so I'm going to arrange that right now. I'm going to go over to Info again, Control T, and then make sure that I'm within the grid so that I do not break the design consistency. Okay, so now just press enter and it snaps back into place. Okay, now I have 3, and I have 4. Okay, so I can divide this. I can take 4 grids per square box and have a consistent design for the info layer. So I can drag it out over here, just like that. Maybe I forgot to do something over here. Okay, it actually created a layer itself because it is in the save mode, but if you're on pixel mode, then you actually have to create the new layer by yourself. But if you're on the save layer, then it's fine. So I'm going to create another rectangular right over here. That's the same size. I know that because I'm using the grid, and drag one over here as well. So I got a basic web layout just like that, and that was not very hard to do so. So this is my info, let me say _1, info 2, and my info 3. Alright. Okay, so far it looks good. I got 1 line of spacing right here, 1 unit of spacing on each of the section, 1 unit here as well, and I am following the grid for the whole layout. Okay, so now I can add in some colors to it. So I got a basic grid layout that I wanted. Now I can actually move on with the colors and so forth. So let me just go over here, and maybe I want to add in some images or maybe texts. Maybe I want these to be a different color, so I'm going to select all of these just by pressing Shift. I'm going to click on this one, press Shift, and all of them are selected. I can choose the color I want to. So let me just select this one, a bit grayish of gray color. Maybe this one. Okay, this seems good. And maybe for this one, for the info panel, I'm going to choose a bit of a bluish color. So I have to be on the shape layer so that I get the option. Let me just select this one maybe. Okay, that seems good. And that's it. I'm going to make sure that I do not choose more than 3 colors in websites, because that will actually make the website look unprofessional. So stick to 3 colors when you're designing a website. So now I got the basic color I want and everything else. Let me add in the text box and everything else. We have to arrange this later on, so do remember that. So I'm going to create a new layer again, select the text tool, and maybe I want to go forward with the 1 unit again. So it might be quite hard to see over here, but you know that this is 1 unit right from this. Okay, so I'm going to drag this. Maybe I want a picture over here at this section. So I'm going to make sure that I only have text up till here. I'm going to make sure that I maintain the grid line system. Alright, so now I'm here and I can add in the text that I want. So I'm just going to add a dummy text over here, that is lorem ipsum. Okay, and then copy out the text. I cannot see the text clearly, so I'm going to change the color of it to white. Maybe I want 12 font size, that's it. And maybe I'm going to use Arial font just to be on the safe side. So I got this, and then let me just copy the text because this is just a dummy text that I have. Left align this, or maybe like justify it. Enter. I got the dummy text. Alright, so that's it. So that's the dummy text. And now I'm going to align this. I want this to be justified, so I'm going to go over to the paragraph options just over here, and then click on this option right here so that it looks more justified and more balanced. Okay, so I can add in images over here. So I can simply add in an image. For that, I'm going to go over to File, Place, and then select the image that I want to use. Maybe I want to use this one. Okay, and I can resize it. I'm going to hold the Shift key so that I do not distort it too much. Okay, I'm going to add it over here. It snaps to the grid, so I know that it snaps into place. And I'm going to increase the size of it. I'm going to make sure that I hold the Shift key so that I do not distort it. I'm going to nudge it up a bit, maybe like 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 unit. I just want 1 unit of it. Press enter. And I'm going to delete the upper portion of it. I'm going to go over to the selection tool and drag it out the top portion. I'm going to make sure that it is 1 unit, delete the part. And it says it is not deletable because I do not have a raster image here. So I'm going to right click on this, click on rasterize layer, and now when I press delete, it'll let me delete the layer above. So now you can see that this is how you can actually make a basic design. And I'm going to use the same method for the rest as well. So I'm going to use this one right here. Maybe I want to use this for the title. Okay, 2 layers, 2 space just for the title. So this is going to be my title. And I'm going to use a black text over here. Maybe not too black, a bit of grayish text right here. And then I want bold. I want a bit bigger font size. Okay, that's too big. Maybe I want 14. Okay, so this is the title. It doesn't matter how you do it. Okay, so this is the title. I can duplicate the layer. That's okay. Control T so that I can see this. Press enter. Duplicate the layer. Press Control T so that I can see the box around it. And then you have it right over there. Okay, so now I can add in more text just like this. So I can add in a text over here. So I can add in a text just like that. So I'm going to use the lorem ipsum text again. That's the mock text that seems like good for designs. Okay, lorem ipsum, whatever. It doesn't matter what you write on it actually. So just want it to be consistent. Okay, that's it. Maybe I want a bit of a paragraph. Okay, paragraph thing. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to duplicate this again. Move this to the side. Control T so that I can see the edges. I can also use the arrow keys to nudge things in place. Duplicate layer. Press OK. Drag it to the side. Okay, that's it. So now I want the home and about us text maybe at the top and at the bottom the footer info and so forth. So I'm going to go over and let's do this. Let's just drag it out from the left side. I want the menu on the left side maybe. That's it. Okay, and maybe this would be enough of a space. I can always resize it later if I want to. So I can press enter. Select white text because the text should be white over here. Let me select a different font, maybe Myriad Pro. And then I'm going to use bold condense. Alright, so I'm going to say home. And I cannot see the text. So just select the text. Select white so that I can see the text. So that's home. And I want bold condensed. So this is Arial, still Arial. Okay. Myriad Pro and bold condensed. And I want a bigger font size, maybe 18. Okay, that's it. So home, about us, contact us, FAQ. Okay, maybe I want to have the portfolio over here. Portfolio, services, so forth. Okay. So now I can reposition this into place so that it looks balanced. So I got the menu that I want over here. You can also add in little pieces of boxes if you want to. You can design the menu in any way you want. So now in the footer section, what I want to do is I want to add in the footer contents, that is copy write information. I do not really have to make box at all times. I can simply click and write down the text as well, as you can see that. So this is my copyright information. It doesn't have to be the exact same text because this is just a dummy. Okay, so now I'm going to use maybe 11 font size. That's it. Okay, at the bottom right here. I want to resize this, maybe Control T, maybe it seems a bit too small for my eye. Press enter. Okay. So now I can select this and maybe I want to draw font size. Okay, 14. That's it. Maybe I want the version of the menu over here. So I can see the menu right over here. So I'm going to duplicate the layer. And once I do that, you can see that it duplicates the layer. You can put it at the end over here. Control T, resize a bit. Enter. Okay. So now I'm going to make sure that it aligns well with the grid over here. 4 space. Alright. 4 grid lines and 4 grid lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 grid lines and copyright information as well. 4 grid lines right from about this space. Okay. Now, it's up to you how much you want to design into it. So now, I'm going to see how the website actually looks without the grid now. So I'm going to go over to View. I'm going to go over to Show, disable the grid, and you can see that it is quite nice. So go over here as well, and then disable the grid as well, and this is how it looks. And you see the background over here. That's actually the grid provided by the plugin itself. So I can disable the layer by clicking on the eye icon right here. And this is how the website actually looks. And you can see that it actually looks quite balanced. So now I'm going to add in some more of designs over here to make it look more good. So I'm going to select this layer over here. Just press Ctrl and click on it so that it selects the layer over here. Then let me go to the Save options. So let me just select Gradient. And let me select the gradient. I want it to start from a bit gray color, just like this. Okay. And then end it like that. So I have a kind of a gradient over here just for that. And now what I want to do is I want to save this. So what I did was I simply clicked on the gradient because I want to use the same gradient on the footer as well. So I'm going to click on Save. Just save it. Okay, so now that's the gradient. Oh, sorry, I have to click the new color so that it actually gets saved over here. Press OK. And now go over here at the bottom, and then I can simply select the same gradient. Go over here and go to the gradient, and if I scroll down, you can see the same gradient over here, so I don't have to repeat the things I just did. So I want a different gradient over here in this section. Just press Ctrl, press on this, and then over here, gradient, and I'm going to select the blue again and be like, I want a bluish gradient over here. I want dark blue at the bottom, just like that, okay, and lighter blue at the top. So that actually looks better, isn't it? Okay, so now for these, the info boxes, okay, go to gradient, maybe a light gradient over here. I want a light color over here, and then at the bottom I want a darker color. Alright, okay, so I want to apply this. I need to save this, so click on it, click new. So I got the gradient over here. Go on to the next two boxes, select the boxes. If I were to press Ctrl, Shift and select two boxes, you can see that both of the layers are selected at the same time. So now I can go over to the Save tool again. Let's go over here and select these, and both are applied to it. I can add in more effects if I want to, so it actually depends on you how you want to do it. So now let's go to the background layer. I'm just simply going to use the grid overlay and press Ctrl A so that all of my background is selected. So I'm going to go over here, then select a gradient over there as well. Let me just select this one. Let me see how it looks. Okay, it doesn't actually let me apply any gradient over it. So what I can simply do is right click on this, go to blending options, gradient overlay. Okay, this actually looks bad. So I want to fill all the background first. So let's press Ctrl A, Ctrl backspace so that it actually fills up the background with the background there. And then go to right click, blending options, gradient overlay. Now it is applied, and I'm going to choose this gradient or maybe I want to choose another color, maybe have a bit of a bluish feel over there. Okay, that actually looks bad. Okay, that's not a good color combination, so I'm going to select another color, maybe a bit of a gray will do just fine. Alright, gray is good. Over here, I'm going to use total white. Okay, this looks much more better. Okay, so I got the gradient in the background as well. And I can add in other effects as well. Other effects to all the boxes as well. So I'm going to select these. Okay, I'm going to select all of these, or just select one of these. Right click, blending options. Maybe I want to add in an inner shadow, an inner glow. No, that's too much. Inner shadow, maybe. Increase the size of it, decrease the distance of it, or increase or decrease this, just like that. Reduce the opacity so that I got a gradient feel over here as well. So now you can have a bit of a gradient effect just like that. Okay, let's press OK again. Or maybe I want to have some more effects, maybe a drop shadow. Drop shadow. Enable this. Okay. So now that gives you much more of a 3D feel over there. So I can decrease the distance, just like that. Decrease the size of it or increase the size of it. You can add in these type of shadows as well if you want. Just press OK. And now I want to copy the effects into the other layers as well. So I can right click on it and then simply copy the layer style. Select these two, right click, paste layer styles. So I got the effects on all of the three boxes that I want. Maybe I want it here as well. Right click and simply paste the layer style. So I got the an effect on my website which I wanted. Okay. So now you have a basic web design layout just like that. And now it's time to arrange up the layers because that is very important for your to be more systematic and to actually present this to client. So now I have to rename this. Let me rename this to background. Alright, so I can rename this to background, and all of the other stuff I can simply like arrange it. Let me just say, let me create a new folder so I can name this into header contents. Alright, and I'm going to create another layer that says footer contents. Alright, I'm going to create another layer that says home. Alright, new layer, new folder, portfolio. I'm going to do this for each page. Services. Alright, new layer, about us, new folder, contact us. Let's rename that. New folder, FAQ. Alright. You'll soon find out the reason why I did this all. So header belongs on to the header contents. The background belongs on nowhere. Okay. Footer on the footer content. Info on the home content. Info 1 on home as well. Info 2 on home as well. I can simply minimize that. Info 3 on home as well. The image, that's in home. Okay, it disappeared, don't worry about it, we'll correct that later on. Lorem ipsum, this is in the home section, and this is the title, home. I can simply select all of it. I know that these all belong in the home section, so I can simply drag it into the home section. And then I can, this one, where does this, actually this is the footer content, and this is the header content. This one, copyright, is the footer content. Alright, so as I do that, what actually happened was it actually messed up the layers. So I have to rearrange the layers just like that. So I can drag this inside the home. Okay, now that's about it. So I'm going to go over to, this is the copyright, footer content. Alright, go over to footer content, the footer layer is actually on top of the text rest. That's why it's not showing up. So I have to drag this up above the footer shape layer so that I can see the text just like that. And in the header content, up, rearrange it, and I want the text to be at the top, just like that. I can rename the text if I want to make to be more organized. All right, and info images at the top. At the top of the info panel, you can select all, put it on top of the info panel, or even top of the image actually. So now you can see that everything is back in place. And you can be more organized with it. So you can create a subfolder as well. Inside the folder, you can actually create a subfolder. So this folder is within the footer content. So I can simply say texts and then drag both inside the text folder and this above. So now this actually makes the things more organized. So I might have other texts later on. So I'm simply going to go over to header content as well, rename this into text, and then put this inside the text folder so that I seem more organized. Okay. So now go inside home as well. Create a separate layer for graphics, a separate folder for graphics, and separate one for text. So I have graphics. You can all rename this if you want to. Graphics, and then one for text. Okay, select all, put it inside text. Delete this. Alright. New folder, text. Select all, put it inside text. Alright. So now what I can simply do is, if I don't want to see the home content, I can actually just do this. Alright. So now, if you see the idea, I'm going to repeat the designing process in the portfolio section, in the services, about us, contact us, and fact, so that I have all of the web pages that I need. So now what I can simply do is, just for the preview sake, I'm going to add in, copy the text, copy the info bar, duplicate the layer, press OK. This is the copy. I'm going to put this inside the portfolio of it. And then I'm going to grab one lorem ipsum text, duplicate this, and add it inside portfolio, just to show you how this actually works. So now I'm going to disable the home layer, and you can see that I have my info panel inside the portfolio. So I'm going to turn on the grid back on. Okay, so go over to grid and go over back to 360, just so the guides as well. And I can actually resize this and make a new design layout for the other pages, just like that. So I can just drag this out. Okay, so now let's say this is my portfolio page where I can add in more contents. So let me just apply this. Let me select all of the text and then select black just so that I can see the text. I can even resize this. I don't need to press Ctrl T to resize it. If I press Ctrl T for it, then you can actually see that I actually resize the text size as well. If I don't press Ctrl T, I can simply drag out, and you can see just the area increases, nothing else. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that it's 1 unit spacing, just like that. Drag it out, 1 unit spacing. Okay, select all, Ctrl C, enter, Ctrl V, enter, enter, select all, Ctrl V. Okay, so now I'm going to have a title in the beginning. So this is my portfolio. Alright, portfolio. Increase the size, make it bold black, increase the size of it. That's my portfolio piece. Alright, so I know portfolio does not look this good, but this is just for a preview sake. So you get the point. You can design it however you want. So now I am simply going to copy this inside the services page. So duplicate this, right click, duplicate the layers. So okay, inside the services, duplicate the layer. That's okay. Inside the about us, duplicate the layers, press OK. Inside Contact Us, duplicate the layers, press OK. Inside the FAQs. Alright. So now, what I can simply do is just reduce all of the sizes, and then I'm going to disable all of the layers and rename all of the layers just like that. So I have this. I can simply go inside and then say FAQ, and then I'm going to just minimize this, enable the other layer, and say this is Contact Us. Alright, okay, so now go inside this one. This is my About Us page. About Us. And this one, Services. Services, okay, go inside Portfolio. And this is my portfolio page. That's it. Okay, I guess that's about it. So now I'm going to disable all the grids, all the guidelines, and so forth. So disable guides as well. So now I have my website mockup ready. So what I'm going to do is, while I talk with my client, or like when I show it to others, I'm going to like disable all of the layers, and then I can actually show it to them like this. I can say that this is the home page. This is the portfolio page, this is the services page, this is the about us page, this is the contact page, and this is the FAQ page. So now you have all of the layers that you want inside Photoshop, and this is how you actually build up a mock web design. And there are a lot more you can do with this. This is actually useful for your exporting into Dreamweaver and other such applications such as that. So now, let's say that for suppose you want to export the website, and you want to maybe export this into Dreamweaver and maybe have an HTML export of it. So when I do that, I'm actually going to turn off the text, and that is the exact reason why I had a separate text folder that's here. So I can simply disable the text, because texts are not really important over here while I'm actually exporting, because I'm going to add it in HTML and so forth. So now I'm going to turn the grid back on again, just to be sure. View, go, and just the grid is fine over here. Then I'm going to go inside here and select the slice tool. So I can slice up the images, because I have to save this in different file formats. Simply slice up the image, slice this up, then slice the bottom part up, okay, the bottom one, this one right here, slice this part. I want to include the shadows, so I'm going to go beyond the grid over here, right? And then I'm going to slice this up. I'm going to slice this up. I don't have to be perfect with it. Slice this up. Okay, maybe slice the image as well. Now what I can do is I can right click, edit the slice options, and rename it to whatever I want. So I can say header. That's okay. Right click, edit slice option. This is my info bar. That's okay. Right click, edit slice option, info bar, image. Press OK. Right click, edit slice of info box 1. Press OK. Right click, edit slice option, info box 2. Okay. Right click, edit slice option, info box 3. Press OK. Right click, edit slice option, footer. So I renamed all of them, and now I want to save them. So I'm going to go over to File, go over to Save for Web, and here I can see all the slices that I made. So now what I can simply do is, maybe it made a few more slices than what I intended for. So I'm just going to make sure that I do have all the slices. I need. So that's the info bar, and this is the info bar. Okay. So now go to export, save to web. Sorry. Okay. Go to file, go to save to web, and then I'm going to make sure that the image is in JPEG format. I do not need 100% quality. Let me just reduce the quality of it so that it looks good. So 5 kilobyte is actually quite good of a size. And then for the other images, what I can simply do is I can select PNG, because that is enough. PNG is actually better for graphics as it takes lesser file size, or maybe PNG 8 if possible. And PNG 8, let's lose any quality. I do have to double check it. I can zoom it in to find out how it actually looks. So PNG 8 seems quite good for it. Okay, PNG 8. Over here, this is 25, and if I select PNG 8, it is 43, or I can resize it, percentage, that's okay. PNG 8. I can also choose JPEG, because this is taking up a lot of space actually. Okay, so JPEG, whichever takes the less space, less amount of space will be fine. Okay, so now once I do that, I'm going to go over to save, and I'm going to just save it in my desktop. I'm going to create a new folder. This is my sliced website. Okay. Then I'm going to go over to slices or settings. Go to others. I want to export in slices. Generate CSS, because that's what we use. You can choose ID or by class. It's okay. And then I'm going to say HTML and images. I'm just going to say preview.html. Preview.html. Okay. Save it. And then export at the site. I'm going to go over to my desktop, go over to my sliced website, and you can actually see that I have my image right here. So I can double click on it, and you can see that my website is there. And besides that, it divided the images according to the names I actually added in Photoshop itself. So now you can actually see that I had the slices to work with when I work in HTML. So I can see that now if I were to inspect this, let me inspect the element, and if I were to inspect the element, okay, it's not showing up, right click, inspect element, inspect. Okay, let me just go over here, over to developer tools, let me go over to page source, alright, and you can see that it actually exported HTML. So you know the width and height of each and every slices that they made. And this is an HTML code, not really usable, but it can be used as a reference while exporting it into Dreamweaver or other applications such as that. So now this is it, and this is how you make a mock website for Photoshop designs. And thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe.